The International Monetary Fund recently imposed 11 new conditions on Pakistan for the release of its next bailout tranche. The IMF has already bailed Pakistan out 25 times. Pakistan must secure parliamentary approval for a $63 billion budget, including $3.8 billion for development. It must implement agricultural income tax reforms and publish a governance action plan per IMF recommendations. Inflation adjustments are required for cash transfer programs. Institutional plans for 2028 must be outlined. Energy tariffs must stay at cost recovery levels by July 1st, while gas tariffs must adjust semi annually by February 15th, 2026. The captive power levy must be formalized through legislation, and the debt surcharge cap must be removed. Special technology zone incentives must end by 2035, and import restrictions on used cars must be lifted.
But whatever we need to do in terms of ensuring that our defense requirements are met will be met.
We heard him right. Defense budget. A clear indication of what India has been protesting against for long, that funding Pakistan would imply funding its army to carry out a proxy war by terrorism against India.
Because we are the victims of this profligacy of funds being used to promote terrorism, to have huge militias being funded, being promoted, and being provided with various weaponry.
Pakistan's government is pushing a false narrative to maintain public morale despite military setbacks. It recently promoted Army Chief Asif Munir to Field Marshal despite a major defeat by India.
India taught Pakistan a lesson which it should not forget for decades. India taught Pakistan a lesson that if the Pakistanis have any self-respect, should end with Asif Munir in prison, if not on the gallows.
Pakistan's efforts to hide military failures won't alter reality. IMF conditions will hit multiple sectors, raising energy prices, cutting subsidies, and increasing taxes, which could spark protests. Limits on special technology zones may deter investment, while funding the army may further destabilize governance. The Economic Brief, DD India.
Ambassador Veena Sikri continues to be with us. Ma'am, how will the IMF's new conditions, including tax reforms and subsidy cuts, impact Pakistan's economic stability?
Well, I think we have to recall that it is India who expressed a strong opposition to the IMF decision to actually extend this additional tranche of $1 billion or $2 billion to Pakistan right in the middle of the hostilities that they had imposed on India, the attack on the innocent tourists in Pahalgam, and our very, very furious response to that. So I think that India not only expressed its concern, but India abstained in the voting, which in the IMF is very serious because there is no provision for negative voting there. So, we said that this is absolutely unheard of, that in the middle of these kind of hostilities and the kind of action that Pakistan is taking, that you should give them an additional tranche. Now, it is in response to that that IMF has now introduced these 11 very serious additional conditionalities on Pakistan. And these, I think, are going to be very difficult for Pakistan to meet. It includes the cutting of subsidies, which has always been a problem with Pakistan because they please their people only by giving them one subsidy after another so that, they don't have to do anything and they get money for nothing. Then, of course, increasing taxes, reducing the defense budget. I mean, actually, Pakistan has announced a huge increase in the defense budget after, the 7th May attack on the terrorist facilities, and after their absolutely barbaric attack on the pilgrims, on the tourists in Pahalgam. And, this is absolutely something that cannot go on because the IMF is going giving the money and they're using it for defense. So they're going to make them even more aggressive. And in fact, not only that we do know that when the Indian strike on 7th of May targeted the terrorist headquarters in Murid-Ke, in Bahawalpur, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, the first thing that Pakistan did, because by that time they had got that news about the 1 million additional tranche or $2 billion additional tranche. Yes. They announced that we'll give 14 crores to Asad Manzoor, whose relatives had died in that attack. About 100 terrorists died in the Indian attack on the terrorist headquarters. So they said, no, we're going to give him money and we're going to rebuild all the headquarters. Can you imagine a huge amount of money? Where they're going to take it from? They're going to take it from the IMF tranche, from the IMF money. So, this is absolutely unacceptable that a country like Pakistan should be doing this. And we have raised strong objections to that.
Indeed, ma'am. But what are the, geopolitical implications of Pakistan's defense budget priorities? Especially, I mean, India's long-standing concerns that you're talking about.
Well, we are deeply concerned because we do know, for example, that in the attacks by India on 7th May and then subsequently on 10th May in response to Pakistan's own escalation and their own efforts to even rain missiles and bombs on Golden Temple, on schools and colleges, we do know that Pakistan's present set of equipment, even the air defense system, the Chinese missiles that they had been given, the Chinese, the drones. In fact, there's supposed to have been 6 plane loads of drones arriving from Turkey in Pakistan, and then they were used on India, and huge swarms of drones were sent. We do know that none of them operated well. None of them hit their targets. Right. And in the first few days, Pakistan was trying to talk up the performance of the Chinese defense equipment, and the Chinese defense company stocks went up. But subsequently, after the truth became known and India was able to show visuals, even of unexploded so-called high-flaunting Chinese missiles, unexploded when they fell in Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir, the Chinese defense company stocks plummeted because they knew that what they have supplied to India, what they have supplied to Pakistan are total duds. And, either they have supplied, inadequately, they supplied non-performing equipment, very poor quality, or they don't have the capacity at all to manufacture high-end defense equipment.
Ambassador Veena Sikri, that's all the time we have for this discussion. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us and, helping us, broadening our understanding of the situation as it stands.